Hello and welcome to a tutorial on how to georeference imagery. And really once you get your drawing georeferenced, you can bring in shape files and all kinds of stuff, but what we're going to do is bring in a geotiff. That's generally what I do for my stuff, and we are not using GIS data because we want to be a little bit more accurate than that. But the imagery gives a nice background and whatnot. So the first thing you want to do is figure out what state plane zone you're in. I always just go ahead and Google, if I don't know it off the top of my head, state plane zones. And one of the first places that pops up is the state plane coordinate system designations. And once you click on that, you'll have all the states and all the zones. And there's a map over there to the right. You know, I'm usually working in Colorado or Wyoming, so I have a really good handle on what zones I'm working in. I know in particular that this zone is going to be the West Central Zone, so just kind of keep that in mind. It also gives you the UTM zone, which can be helpful. Alright, so now that we know which zone we're going to be in, because again, it's by county and we're going to be in Fremont County, let's set up everything in AutoCAD. Alright, now once you have AutoCAD launched, you want to have the tool space open, which is this window on the left hand side. And what you want to do, if you don't have it, just type show TS and it'll pop up if it's not already there. Click on settings and then right click on your drawing, edit drawing settings. Once you have that opened, this stuff should be pretty dialed in. Just so you know, should always be US survey foot. It should not be international foot. And just be aware that the default drawing style that AutoCAD gives you is going to be an international foot, not in US survey foot. So if you've got a big engineering project and you're not sure what you're in, that's a really good thing to look at in your settings. Alright, and clearly we're in feet. And just so you know, we're always going to be working in feet here in AutoCAD. If you need a meters template or something like that, that's kind of a big deal and a pain in the butt to set up. And there's a lot of front-end work, which we obviously can't get into here. If you need to reproject something from meters into feet, you can do that through this program, but I recommend using a third-party program. Alright, so we're going to go to USA Wyoming for the category, and we're always going to use feet. So we're going to be NAD 83 West Central Zone US foot. And just be aware that NAD 83 is very different than NAD 27. If you accidentally click on NAD 27 instead of NAD 83, your data is going to come in the wrong place. These are based on two completely different ellipsoids, and I could speak for hours on ellipsoids, but we're not going to get into that. So we're just going to click on NAD 83 West Central Zone US foot. And all this should be good. It's a transverse Mercator projection. That's what TM stands for. The other projection that you would be using in state plane is a Lambert conformal conic. So I'm not really sure what anyway, that's what it is if it's something different there. Okay, and we're just going to hit apply and okay. So now we have defined our coordinate system. If you type ZE, zoom extents, you'll see this rows. All this thing means is that there's an assigned coordinate system in your drawing. You can turn this off in your settings. I prefer for it to be on. If it's driving you crazy and you think it's going to print, it is not going to print. It's just something to notify you that something's going on. Alright, the next thing you want to be aware of is that there is two files that you want to have for your imagery. One is a TIFF file, and then the other one's a world file. So there's the TIF and then the TFW. Excuse me, that was a lot to say. But you can use all kinds of different file types like SIDs or JPEGs. You just want to make sure that what's piggyback on is a world file. Alright, the next thing that you're going to do is type map insert. Yeah. And I have everything on my desktop just for simplicity's sake. But if you're working in a company, this imagery should be on your server and somewhere where everybody else can get to it. So when they try to open up your drawing, you know, they're not cussing you and saying, "Oh, why did that idiot put it on his computer? Doesn't he know we can't see that?" So just be cognizant of that. Alright, so we're going to click on this TIFF. and make sure that this button is clicked, modify correlation. This basically says there's a world file attached, and that world file puts it in the right place. See, correlation file, world file. Insertion point, these are state plane coordinates, so basically I think it's the lower left hand corner, that's where it's going to like plop in, and everything else is going to be in the correct coordinates. Alright, let's hit apply. Okay. And you can't see it, but let's type ZE again. I said ZE. Alright, there we go. And this is exactly my site. And these coordinates, if you look in the lower left hand corner, you can see X and Y. And so we're in good shape, and that's exactly where we want it. Alright, that's pretty much the end of the tutorial. I hope that helps.